Thanks everyone for being here. This is RC Peck, and the name of this training is How to Hack Your Ideal Prospect's Brain and Double Sales in as little as 90 days without selling, even if you have previously felt you've tried everything. So thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here. Now, the first thing I want to do is maybe some people aren't familiar with the term hack. So I just want to give you my definition of hack. And living here in Silicon Valley for the last 17 years, that word was probably picked up and used more frequently here in Silicon Valley than it has in other places. So my definition of hack is to modify or change something so it produces extraordinary results in a short amount of time. Now, what I want to show you, okay, I want to show you why your current sales approach is probably making your life hard. I want to show you actually how to hack the sales process and move from hello to I want to buy fast, or as fast as you can in your industry. And I want to also point out and show you why ignoring these changes in how people want to buy, notice that phrase, people want to buy, or how people buy, will cost you six figures in the next 12 months if you don't change it. Now, specifically, I want to show you how to shift to a results-based service model, meaning a model where you're not basing your income on your effort or your deliverables necessarily, but it's more based on results, which means you have more time. I want to show you how to eliminate all the sales from your sales process, and I want to show you how to eliminate really all that ickiness or yuckiness or uncomfortableness or that awkwardness from your sales process. And even if you are a 20-year veteran in sales or someone who left the corporate world to start working for themselves and found out that you've become a full-time salesperson, many times for the buyer, it's feeling very icky, yucky, and awkward, and that does not help. I also specifically want to talk about why referrals will not be enough and how they really have never been enough. And also how this really accelerates your business growth. So even if your business is growing, this just makes you run a lot faster with much less effort. And if your business has been stagnant or flat or maybe even down, this is one of those key things that you can pinpoint to after this training, this live training, that you can shift almost immediately. So the question is, what's the real cost? What's the real cost of kind of using that 1970s sales technology, which is what I call it and kind of what I think of it. So the first is you kind of run out of calendar before your wants are met. I mean, if you're like most people in or out of Silicon Valley, you have wants, you have desires. You may want more security. You may want more choices. You may want more of something. You may want to give back to others. But if you run out of the calendar before those are met, then it's going to be pretty hard for those to get met. The other real cost is if your sales conversations continue to feel awkward and uncomfortable to everyone, that's going to hurt your sales, which is going to hurt your revenue, which is going to hurt your net worth, which is going to hurt your choices and security and freedom. And the real cost of not really implementing the right conversations at the right time is you continue to stay at the mercy of referrals. And look, I love referrals. I get a lot of referrals like every other company that is successful at doing what they do and helping their clients. But it's not enough if you want to really grow and accelerate your company. And then, the real cost if you don't implement this is you just continue to live an effort-based life. Your life is based on your choices. Your security is based on your effort, which kind of sucks. So here's the thing. If you stick around into the end, I want to give you something extra. Now, I'm going to give you a lot in this training, but there's a little kind of stick around fun I want to give you at the end. And what I want to share with you at the end is I'm going to share with you how to get a 95%, it's probably more like a 98% success rate when calling someone cold. I will literally give you the best words to use at the right time in the right way to get the coldest, cold call or cold email you could ever think of to say, yeah, tell me more. And they will give you that extra minute or 2 minutes to actually tell you. It is the most powerful script wording in the world today. And after after you see some of this training, you'll understand why it is actually really, really effective. So, does this sound like you? You deliver a service that's really worth thousands, but you charge hundreds. Said another way, you deliver a service that's really world-class, but maybe you're only charging middle of the road. You know you can charge more. You see the results that you can produce for others, but you just haven't figured out how to kind of fill that gap between what you're able to deliver and provide for people and what you can charge for it. The second one is you have to have conversations to convert a client, but not enough of those conversations turn in your favor, right? So if you're someone who has to generate your own revenue, whether that's a business owner or a consultant or a coach or a salesperson, if you have to make sales within a conversation and not enough of those conversations are turning in your favor, then this was designed for you. This training was designed for you. And the third or fourth, you actually see other companies, other people charge their worth, but you've failed to see how to do it for yourself. So you know it's possible. You just haven't figured it out for yourself. And fourth and last is your company revenue is not increasing fast enough. Whatever it is, your company revenue is not increasing fast enough or as fast as you think it can. So here's what I think is the good news. What I just described are really all symptoms of a much bigger problem, right? And it's not the economy, it's not your logo, it's not your business card, but really those are symptoms, what I just described in the previous slide, to a much, much bigger problem. So the question is, what is that real problem? What's the biggest problem? What's that one thing you can shift that can change everything? You're not having the right conversations at the right time, with the right words, with your prospects or clients. You're literally using the wrong conversations at the wrong time with the wrong words, and that's ending up in you working harder and having a harder life than you really need to. The other is conversations that can clearly identify the biggest personal want that your client has that you can help them get. Now, let me say that second one again. The second part to the real problem is that you're really not clearly identifying your prospect's biggest personal want or personal problem or personal issue that you can help them get. Now, that happens within a conversation. That clarity happens within a conversation. But this is the one thing that everything pivots off of for your sales. It's not your marketing. It's not even your product. It's not how you deliver. It's this one specific thing that can change everything. And the thing is, if you shift this one thing, your clients will want to pay you more and they'll respect you more. You'll be able to increase prices without deliverables or effort, meaning you won't have to increase your deliverables. You won't have to increase your effort, but you will be able to increase your prices. Your sales conversations, they're going to feel and be easy for you and them and everyone. It's just going to feel like an easy conversation to have. So here's the right focus. Here's what we're going to focus in on. You need to pinpoint the conversation that everything pivots off of, that everything turns off of, that the yeses are produced from or the nos are produced from. And the thing is, if you shift this one thing, you change everything. And that's what's great about it. You can spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on marketing systems that help you catch more fish. But if you don't really know how to kind of fry them and eat them, if you don't know how to convert them, there's a lot of wasted money. There's a lot of wasted time. And so much effort is put on and put into marketing systems that bring in more referrals. And as it should be, like that's an important part. But what happens is so much of someone's energy is just depleted by the time it actually gets to that conversation. They almost just become like an order taker. Would you like this now? This is how much it costs. And that's exactly the experience you start creating for the client. They don't treat you as well as you want. They don't have the same respect for you. And the deliverable, as you deliver it and fulfill it for them, doesn't go as smooth as it can. So the right focus is to pinpoint that conversation that can change everything. So for the next, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes, I want to show you the right way to perfect or hack this one conversation so you can have easy conversations, higher paying clients, and easier to work with clients. I mean, does that seem fair? Does it seem fair to create, set aside, make that 35 minutes that can literally shift everything in your business? Yeah? So look, you need to know a little bit about me. One of my driving beliefs is I just believe in doing things the right way. I believe in growing money the right way. And I am a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor. For a living, I manage people's money. I show them how to build their net worth. I get couples aligned with each other so they can grow their money like the weeds in your grandma's garden. That's what I've been about my entire life. And the thing is, I'm able to charge a lot for what others give away for free. So when I started in the financial advising business, I found out that most financial advisors actually do not charge for financial advice because they want to give that to you so they can capture your assets and, have a money management fee. And their whole business models are on capturing assets. So they actually give away the quote unquote financial advice for free. Well, I value what I was telling people, and I would see how it would create a better life for them. And I was like, that's not free. That's worth a lot of money. But this was a struggle for me to kind of figure out how to do this. And, I'm doing well now, but it wasn't always like that. And, in the past, I just put a lot of effort and time into not only each client, but into each prospect. And I was having to battle these really big things of how to overcome me charging money for when other people are charging free. Now, what you should hear is business is a subcategory of money. And I've spent my entire life finding out, learning the right way to grow money, which means learning the right way to run a business, which means learning the right way to have sales conversations. So those conversations turn to yeses and happy clients. This is about money. The foundation of this entire conversation really is about money. So things were kind of not going well for me. I was good at what I did. I transformed people's net worths and how they got along with their partner, their spouse. But I was struggling to somehow make it work and communicate to people how, the value that they would get. And my business transformed almost overnight when one of my clients showed me how to have easy conversations with people. It was this woman, still as a woman. I was in my late 20s. She and her husband were in their mid 60s. And basically, she had spent her life selling. And when she was, before this marriage, she was a single mom with 3 kids. She could not afford to drive to prospects' businesses or fly around the country or fly around the world. She had to be at home at night to be mom. And so what she did was she said, I'm going to do the selling over the phone. Now, she was selling $100,000 services, and the other men, they were all other men, they were all men in her sales division, were traveling all over and flying all over. She said, look, is it okay? She asked her boss, is it okay if I use the phone and get the same results? Now, he didn't believe it could be done, but that's in fact what happened. She said, I can't afford to do all the traveling. It will save the company money. I'll be able to sell the same thing on the phone. And that's what she did. And what she did was she turned the whole process upside down, and she looked at it from the buyer's point of view and what was going on in the buyer's brain. Once she taught this to me, literally it was off to the races, or my income or my revenue or my choices in security were off to the races. I started implementing what she taught me in March of 2002. Right after that, I went from charging $3,000 a client to $25,000 a client in 6 months. Now look, in no way am I saying my results are going to be your results. And in no way am I saying my clients' results are going to be your results. That would be absurd for me to say that. We don't know each other. I don't want to, treat you like you're not an intelligent person, as I would if I could just say, oh, well, you can get the same thing I can get. I don't know. I can't make you get rich. I can't help you accelerate your sales. Only you can do that. I can show you the tools. I can show you what works. I can show you what doesn't work. But you got to meet me halfway, and you got to actually implement. So I went from $3,000 per client to $25,000 per client in 6 months. And during that same time period, I cut my work and effort with each client by 50%. It actually probably was more than 50%, but let's just stick with 50%. And my clients' results, not only did they not go down, not only did they not change, but my clients' results and their experience of my services actually skyrocketed. Do you get that? I did not increase my deliverables. In fact, I cut my effort by at least 50%, and their results and experience skyrocketed. One of my clients, Adam Boswell, he was this, very talented database webmaster guy. No, he did not live in Silicon Valley. He actually was living in Hawaii. He wanted to create the life he wanted to live, and he was earning a very good income, making probably $150,000 a year, quote unquote, working for the man. But he didn't want to work for a large corporation anymore. So very talented guy. But his business was based on personal effort. He put effort in. He was taking orders from clients, and he got some money for it. And he knew he was one of the best at what he did, but he still wasn't getting ahead. And in fact, Adam felt like he was stuck. In fact, he said, I'm stuck. So I actually got connected with Adam through his brother. His older brother, who's about 8 years older than him, connected me to Adam. And Adam and I spoke, and we found a fit. Now, Adam had to implement my method. Right? So this is not just content. This is not just buying content or acquiring information. He actually had to implement it. But once he started implementing it, and he started implementing it immediately, he noticed right away his clients' satisfaction dramatically increased. In fact, he noticed his clients started really being grateful to him for what he was doing for them. And he doubled his income in his first year. Not bad. He doubled his income, not his revenue, his income, what it was actually making it into his bank account. And then the second year, he doubled his income again. Now, let me say, when you shift something or hack a process or pinpoint the one part of your business that everything else kind of shifts from, you start to change the way you think. And that's what happened with Adam. His personal mindset regarding his own value dramatically shifted. Now, he actually did not become more experienced. He did not increase his skill set or his expertise. That was the same as what it was a year or 2 years before that. But because his clients were getting even better results and he was able to double his income 2 years in a row, he started thinking different about his value to other people. And of course, his life and income greatly accelerated because of that. So here's the thing. By the end of Adam's third year of implementing this system, his revenue increased by 6,000%, most of which he kept. Again, I'm not saying you're going to get Adam's results. Adam implemented. A lot of people will never implement anything. I'm not talking about my clients. I've been working with people for 17 years in the crossroads of kind of human behavior and money. And business and sales is a subset of money. So I've kind of learned how to find the shortcuts and kind of hack the process so my client's brain starts to implement and make those shifts almost immediately. But Adam kept most of that. And I'm not saying you're going to get 6,000% in your third year. I'm simply pointing out what happens when you use the right conversation at the right time with the right words. To this day, Adam no longer deals with demanding clients, which is all he basically did before this. His business income is based on value produced for his clients and not his effort. He has freedom to pursue his interests outside of building his own little empire, and he no longer really stresses about supporting his family's wants and desires. He got what he wanted. So, my question to you is, how many hours or days or weeks or years away are you from having some of what Adam Boswell has in his life? And, which version of Adam do you want to be living? The one kind of using the right conversation at the right time with the right words, or post? And this is what's offered to people. Because, once you get this difference, you're not going to settle and work with difficult clients. You're going to be in control of your business's growth. It's not going to be about the economy or any outside force. It's going to be about you, and you kind of get back control of your future again. You're never going to feel bad about having sales calls because they're not going to be sales anymore. There's no ickiness or yuckiness or awkwardness for anyone. They just feel like easy conversations. And you're going to have more. Once you get this, you're going to have more clients paying higher margins or having bigger deals, however you want to think about it, while you're actually working less. You're not going to be inauthentic. You're not going to be hurting people. It's such a powerful methodology that you can actually increase your sales and deal size and conversion and the amount of time your clients stay with you and not have to work less. And I know right now that may sound unbelievable or maybe even hypey, and I'm going to show you why and how it works. So let's pull back the curtain a little bit and talk about this. Now, I call this methodology the easy conversation because, like I said to you before, all my clients make sales within conversations, and those conversations show up very easy to them, and it shows up very easy to the prospect and their client. They're just easy conversations to have. So I want to kind of go inside this easy conversation. Now, the first step within this, you got to rule people out fast. You got to have a really thick filter at the beginning to know who you should spend time with and who you should not. I grew up having to sell. I was in corporate sales before I worked for myself, became a registered investment advisor and a certified financial planner. And one of the things I saw so many times in the world of corporate sales were people doing things to prove to their boss and maybe even themselves that they're doing stuff to justify their income. But the clients I work with, they're not interested in proving to anyone anything except I want to show you how good my service is and I want that income, that price to match what that fulfillment is. So the first step in the easy conversation is to rule people out fast. The second one, and there's only 3 steps, the second step is to have them commit to you early. You want them to commit to you. And if you've ever been in a situation where you have to generate your own revenue or sales, you've had that experience where you think it went really well, but then the person doesn't get back to you for days or weeks or months or ever because there never was that commitment. One of the many powerful things about the easy conversation is it saves you a lot of time. You've heard me say many times already that you can hack the sales conversation. And when you know you've done that successfully or properly or appropriately, your effort goes down while your income goes up. And one of the ways to do that is step number 2. If they can't commit early, then there's a 95% chance you're never going to do business with them. And you probably don't want to anyway, even if they wanted to, because they'll be difficult clients. The third step, you actually have them eliminate your competition. That sounds pretty cool. You have them eliminate all the competition. So by that third step and final step, you're literally the only one in the running. There is no competition. Now, I will point out, and I will point it out again, these 3 steps, they don't take years. They don't take months or quarters. Those 3 steps together is about 60 minutes of your time, about an hour. That's how effective this is. It's not based on effort. It's not based on time. It's based on what really works. How do you hack the sales process? Yeah? So you can get them to yes or no as fast as possible. Because if they're going to be a no, I'd rather find out they're a no in the first 10 minutes than 3 months later. Now, clients who implement this methodology, about 50% of them increase their revenue by 100% in 12 months. About 50% of them do that. And the other 50% increase their revenue by about 50% in 12 months. And what this typically looks like is they get the 50% increase. Most clients get that 50% increase in the first 6 months. And then a lot of it comes down to how they implement. Some clients actually, and I'm going to describe one of my clients, it's actually so successful so quickly that it almost kind of makes them lazy. And that's the story actually of Sean McCool. Now, Sean absolutely is not lazy. He's a brilliant strategist. His kind of form of strategy is copywriter / strategist. He shows people the right way to communicate to their clients to get them to double their income. So Sean implemented this system, and in the first 30 days, he got one new client, just one. And that client so far has produced $250K plus. Now, the question is, what does he have to do for that one client? And the answer is, he works roughly about 8 hours a month. That's it. In a month, there's 30 days. Not every day is a work day. But about 8 hours a month is what he puts into this one client. And his client loves the results that he gets for them, because he has built his whole business with this client and his other clients on results. So his client's not asking him, how many hours are you working, or how much are you an hour? What the client is doing, what Sean's client is doing, is going, oh my gosh, I love the results. How can you do more for us? And literally they come back to Sean and say, I want you to do more for us. Like literally, sell us more of your services. We want more, Sean. And that's what's happening with him. And that's what has happened and is happening with him. You know, so you think Sean's happy he implemented the right method? I mean, of course he is. But, you know, you get to choose. You can be like Sean, right? Or you can keep thinking, you know, marketing will get me there. If I could just market more, then I'll get there. The problem is, if sales end up in a conversation, you got to know how to have the right conversation to make sure that you can get the deal size and the amount of conversion and the length that client is in your life. You want to make sure you can do that the right way. And if you keep thinking like, you know, I'd do this if I wasn't so busy. What? Wasn't so busy? You're so busy. People are so busy because they're doing things the wrong way. That's why they're busy. You know, or if you keep thinking, I just need more experience. I just need more skills. I just need more expertise. No. That's one of those, you know, misinformations out there. You know, people often believe that if I just get more skills and experience and expertise, then I can have a lot more revenue and income. But actually, it has very little to do with someone's experience and skills. And actually, it has to do with how they connect and communicate and what type of conversations they have with their prospects and clients that determine how much revenue and income they have. So let's talk about how to make this shift, how to make this change happen fast. Let's dig into those 3 steps so you can bring something with you immediately after this call, in case you have a sales call this afternoon or tomorrow or the next day. So the first step is you gotta rule people out fast. This will take you about 10 minutes. The first thing you just want to do is really quickly discover their real interest, because if they're not interested, then you don't want to spend any more time with them. You don't want to do demos, and please don't do demos. Anyone who does demos is basically someone who's showing the prospect, look how amazing my stuff is. And I want to say most prospects do not care how amazing your stuff is. What they care about most is their own issues or own problems or own wants. That's what they care about it. If you want to write something down, write that down. So in this first step, you want to really discover their real interest. The way you do that is very easy, or easily done. What you do is you tell them the 3 problems clients have that come to you. Your clients are either having this problem, or this problem. You frame it like that. You're just talking about why your clients come to you, why people come to you, not talking about yourself. And you talk about what those three problems are. After that, you say, and once they come to us and we identify that it's a fit, then typically they have one of three results. They get this, or they get this, or they get this. Again, you're just talking and framing this conversation in what your clients get. No one cares about what you do and what you provide, but people like to know about what happens to clients who work with you. After you do this, then you ask them literally so which one of those problems kind of most resonated with you? Which one stood out the most to you? You just ask them. And look, if they're like, yeah, none of them really, that's not really us, how you described us. What I really want to do is run a 4-minute mile, and you kept talking about building a nice house. Great. There's no fit. You don't need to spend any more time with them. But if you're fishing in the right pond, or the right enough pond, and finding the right leads, what the prospect is going to do and say is they're going to say the one thing that really stood out to them, which is your first indicator, an indication of what is possibly one of their business problems. And I'm emphasizing the word business problems and not their personal wants. After you do that, you've kind of established that there might be a potential fit. And you literally ask them, what's your interest in us speaking so I can learn more about what you want and what's working and not working, and you can learn more about what my clients get. What's your interest in that? And they're going to say, I'm interested in that. That's interesting. And once they say that, you then quickly just say to them, great, so there's really two easy next steps. The next step is I'm going to send you something that I call the Easy Dashboard. It's going to take you 10 minutes to fill out. And then you're going to want to send it back to me. And then after that, we're going to get on a phone call. We're going to get in conversation and really find out more about what it is that you want. And you're going to find out more about why this works and how it works and what my clients get. Does that seem fair? That's a 10-minute conversation that you can do on the phone. Now, maybe at the beginning, it's not going to take 10 minutes. It might take you 15 or 20 minutes. But after you've done a handful of these, you can really cut it down to the essential pieces of information. People are busy. You're busy. They don't want to be on the phone with you for an hour. Respect their time. They'll respect your time. So that's step number one. And if they're not interested in what your clients get, you can rule them out. You can save time and find and be in front of someone and talk to someone who is actually and has interest in what your clients get. So that's step number one, rule people out. Step number two, you send them that Easy Dashboard. You send them that Easy Dashboard. Now they're going to spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 8 minutes filling it out. And here's what's powerful. They fill out the questionnaire or the dashboard. They're doing the filling out, okay? They describe their personal current state. Now, this is a huge distinction here. This questionnaire, this Easy Dashboard that you're sending them, it's not about their business, what they want with their business. Of course, everyone wants more sales and more whatever and more money. You want to find out what they want, specifically their personal want. People want to be treated appropriately. They want to be treated personally. And one of the things that is most missed in business is people answer what I call the business ask. What people come to you for and ask for, I call that the business ask. What this second step is doing is it's having you get personal with them, which is going to build rapport, which is going to build connection, which is going to want them to have you in their life. It's a simple shift, but a dramatic change to your income and their experience and their life. Remember, on the other side of this conversation, someone's getting a life-altering, transformational service for themselves or for their business. When they fill this out, you get a clear picture of their commitment, how they filled it out. Were the answers to the questions long? Were they short? Did they take it serious? Did they take it not so serious? Did they get it back to you? Did they not get it back to you? This is giving you such important data on what is going on inside of that prospect's brain. And you have to know that. Now, I put 5 minutes on here because it's probably going to take you 5 minutes to read it. Now, really, it'll probably take you 1 minute to read it, but let's just be generous, and I'll give you 5 minutes to read over their easy dashboard and really understand, at least at the beginning, what it is that they want and what's kind of going on with them personally and what they want, the kind of that personal want. And here's the great thing. They're literally voting based on their desire for change. And I hope you get this. People who actually want change in their business. Okay, and let's just assume for a second that the value-based service, the value-added service that you provide changes businesses, transforms businesses, help them grow faster, more efficiently, cut effort, time. You can change that business and how it operates based on your service. Well, by having this step, you can tell their desire for having their business run, having their personal life operate and run differently. This shows you their desire for that change. That's how you can actually take a sales process that in the past would take months or quarters or years, and you can significantly shorten it down to be just the essential parts. And that's really what a hack is about. A hack is being able to really find that shortcut that gets extraordinary results for everyone. That's what this is about. And then you have the third step. And the third step is you're going to speak to them on the phone. You don't need to travel across the country. Just like the woman who taught me this many, many, many years ago, all of her cohorts, men, were flying all over and traveling all over. And she would joke that they just wanted to do that to get out of the house and get away from the family. She goes, I had to be home for the family at 6 o'clock every night. So she did what other people were doing, flying all over the country. She was doing on the phone in the 80s. This third step is you find out their want in their words. And this will take you 45 minutes. It's going to be a conversation. Now, let me say that again. Step 3 is finding out what they want using their words. Now, let's talk about how this goes. So the first thing is you kind of want to reestablish their interest, and you actually say, so this is why I think we're talking. We've done these things. This is what I think I heard from you. Is that right? And if it is, they're going to, yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, great. I thought so too. I wanted to confirm that so we can move forward. The second thing you do in this conversation is you discover their biggest want. Specifically, their biggest personal want. You want to find out their personal want, not what their business is. Look, everybody wants more sales and more revenue. We got that with bigger margins. But you want to find out personally what it means for them. So let me give you an example. And I have the actual 3 questions, those 3 sales questions, those 3 questions that can literally transform your business, your life, their life. And if you haven't had that, I'll automatically send it to you. You probably actually already have gotten it if you got here. But I don't want to go into the specifics of the questions. But let me give you an example of how kind of this distinction works. If you go down kind of the conventional 1970s sales approach and you find out that people want, more revenue, with less overhead. All right, that's not too exciting. And, you may get the deal, you may not get the deal, but they probably won't be the easiest client. They probably will negotiate hard with you, and they probably won't implement as well as maybe they could. But if you found out that person's personal want, who is the decision maker, and you found out that person's personal want was to have a beach house, but specifically to have a beach house because what he wants a house that his kids can come back to with their kids every summer. And he can see his 3 kids and their spouses and their grandkids want to come back and see the grandparents, want to spend weeks or months at the beach with them. If that's what he or she actually wants, Can you get how that's a much bigger want and how someone would be much more committed and their desire to have that is much different than, more revenue with less overhead? When you get this person's specific want, that changes everything. And that's what this kind of second step in this third phase does. You discover what that person's biggest personal want is. That's their biggest want. That's their biggest problem. That's their biggest issue. That's what they really want at their core. And when you discover that, you discover everything. The third thing is you establish in this conversation if they actually want to get and work on getting that want now. So is this something you actually want to have now? And start working on right now? Yes? Like you ask that question. You get them to confirm, like, this is what I want. And then what you do is you read back your notes that you took. Because you're taking notes and you're finding out what they want. You're using their words. We're going to talk about their words in a second. We're going to dig a little deeper in why I'm talking about their words to describe their wants. And you read it back to them so they can load up that experience. It's called future pacing. You have them future pace that experience to go, that's what I want. And yes, I want that now. And the way you do that is you only use their words. You don't use your words. You use their words. So let me give you an example of why this is so powerful. Only use their words. And I'll give you an example. What does the word success mean to you? Now, I say the word success, and your brain does something. What your brain actually does is load up images or sounds or gustatory feelings or experiences. That's actually most words, except like the and or, but most words carry images and feelings and sounds and emotions. And the problem with most salespeople is they're using their own words. So to you, success may mean something very different than the other person. And you say to them, so is this something, do you want to succeed? Sounds like you want some success in your business. Well, if that's not a word they never used, you don't know what it means to them. And you don't want to use words that you don't know what it means to them. So don't use your words to describe their wants. Let them do that, right? Because does success look like this to them? A kind of money grubber, greedy person, 2 a.m. infomercial guy who talks about have success in real estate and come on the big boat with me and all these women in bikinis. That's success, right? Because we don't know what that word means to them. Or does it mean, some rich guy? I love the line below this image. Sorry, I can't hear your opinion over my massive fortune. Do they load up some sort of gross image of someone they don't like, an old boss, an old, neighbor? We don't know. And they don't know either. So you don't want to use words that they don't use. Success to them may mean secretariat winning races. It may mean success and winning a race and you placed a bet and you made money on the bet. We don't actually know. And many times they don't even know because it's happening unconsciously. Or maybe success looks like this. I'm free. I can hang out with my partner and our kids. It's a Tuesday. It's sunny. I am secure because my money is there. Because, that allows me to have choices and freedom. And that's what I want to do with my time. We don't know what the word success means. So one of the powerful, powerful, powerful reasons why this sales hack works so well is because you're using their words to describe their biggest want. And before you ever got there, you got them to rule themselves in and commit to the process. This is something that 1970s sales technology does not do. So let me show you how it works. Let's say you're the seller on the left and there's a buyer on the right, okay? You're going to say something to the buyer, and that's going to have them have some sort of experience in their brain. Now, it can happen in their brain, it can happen in their heart, it can happen in their gut, but it's going to happen. And once that happens, they're going to then say something back to you, and you're going to have some sort of experience going on in your brain. And then you're going to say something back to them, and they're going to have some sort of experience in their brain, and they're going to say something back to you. And this goes back and forth until they say yes or they say no. Let me be clear. This has nothing to do with your deliverable because they have not experienced that yet. This has nothing to do with how good you are at fulfilling your service because they haven't experienced that yet. Everything has to do with your words that you're using, yeah, and what it's lighting up and creating in their brain and their body, which then has them say words back to you. And the words they choose to say back to you come from their brain because of what you said to them. And those words they say to you has some sort of experience in your body and your brain, right? And that gets connected together. And then you say stuff back to them. And this is the loop. And this is why sales doesn't work and does work. And let me be clear, it's not sellers and buyers involved. It's two people who want something. And if your service helps and transforms businesses, that means the buyer's going to have more security and more choices in their future. And the same thing for you. So what you have is two people which have their own desires and wants having a conversation. This is why it's powerful. These words in the middle create the experience in their brain, which what they say back to you creates your experience, which creates more words. And it's this loop. And if you can hack that sales loop, that sales process, you can actually shorten the process, increase prices or deal sizes, convert more clients to raving fans, and have them, the buyers, want to pay you more. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So this is what actually Terry Galt did. Terry's a top coach in Silicon Valley. His, just world-class deliverables. The problem is he was having middle-of-the-road pricing, or he was pricing in the middle-of-the-road type of, almost like he was delivering middle-of-the-road services, but his services were just world-class. And so he heard me speak, and he came up to me afterward and said, yeah, I'm interested. Because you know what I did in my talk? I actually said, hey, if part of you is interested and you see yourself in wanting something, wanting a shift, you should come up to me afterwards and say, I'm interested. What would be the next thing? And so that's what he did. And in the first 90 days of him implementing the system, the first 90 days, his average deal size grew by 50% with no extra deliverables or effort on his end. And his clients' experience increased. They had a better experience. They were better implementers. They liked it better. Now, he didn't change how he delivered or fulfilled on his promises, his service. What he shifted was that conversation. And that conversation tees up everything that comes after it. This is a huge distinction between companies that are thriving and companies that are just, getting incremental, there we go. Third time's the charm, incremental change in their sales. The deliverable happens with the conversations. That's where it happens. And literally this whole thing happens within this 60 minutes, which I call the easy conversation. It can transform you, and it can transform your business, and it can transform your clients' businesses because you're able to impress upon them clearer and with more ease what their life will be like for choosing you and getting rid of all the competition. This will allow you to accelerate your sales without increasing work or deliverables. It's going to allow you to attract grateful clients. And I think you know this, but look into your world. Every grateful client you have, you like working with. They pay retail. They come back to you and say, hey, what else should we do? Or let's keep working together. Or, hey, you know what? You know who you should talk to? Go talk to this person, my friend. They're grateful. They appreciate you. They implement. And you've all had a client like this. And the thing is, you can have only clients like this. And this conversation, this easy conversation, it will support you in building your empire. And if you don't like the word empire, it will support you increasing more security and giving you more freedom in your life. Right? So you can shift your entire business with this little 60-minute conversation. It's the conversation that everything pivots off of, having the right conversation at the right time with the right words. So, what I promised you was kind of an inside look at the right way to have sales conversations and why your current selling is probably making your life hard or much harder than it really needs to be. And really why ignoring the right way to have conversations is going to cost you 6 figures this year. So, whatever you were looking for here today, I really do. I sincerely hope you found it, and we'll start applying it tomorrow. And, this method should be used as your roadmap, really, to bigger sales and higher prices paid to you. No more guessing, no more wondering what I should do or how I should do it. Just clear, intentional action. And just imagine your business with the right sales conversations that create excited, high-paying clients who just view you as their only solution to their problem. It's pretty neat. Alternatively, you just, imagine your business 6 months from now without using the right conversation that you now know you need to be changed, that needs to be shifted and changed. Like, what does that look like? Yeah. Maybe you've already experienced that 6 months ago or 6 months before that. So, look, right now you have 3 choices. You can ignore this information. Maybe you don't like the sound of my voice, or I have too much energy. I am an excitable person, or maybe you just attempt to go it alone. You're like, you know what? I'll take a little thing from this and I'll go it alone. Or let me help you. Let me help you for free. Now, of course, free is not free, but free is free, and I'm going to show you how. So here's what I have for you. Ultimately, it is a free 30-minute strategy call. And the shifts that you want to do happen fairly quickly. The first thing you're going to do is you're just going to want to do and fill out one of those easy questionnaires. I call it an easy questionnaire. I call it an easy dashboard. You do that now. The second thing is I read it, and if I think I can help you, we schedule time to connect. Now, I have most things in abundance in my life, except time. So I'm not going to throw my time around. One of the reasons why I have you fill out a questionnaire, well, there's actually 2 reasons. One, for you to get clear, because just filling out this easy dashboard brings clarity to your life. The second is I want to see if I can even help you, because there's some people in some businesses I cannot. So if I think I can, then I want to schedule time to connect with you. And on that phone, in that connection, we're going to connect and pinpoint your biggest gap in your sales process, and we're going to start to fill it. Pretty cool. Now, if we end up thinking there's a fit and wanting to work together, we'll talk about that. But what I want to do is focus on how do we pinpoint and figure out what it is that you're doing that's costing you the most money in that sales conversation. And my time's going to be offered to the first 15 people that kind of raise their hand and go get that easy questionnaire submitted to me. So I can look, just like I said in my process, the ones who self-commit and commit early, the ones that I'm most interested in helping. So I want to do that for you. And in that conversation, we're going to find out what that one thing is that's really creating the biggest gap in your sales process. And we're going to start to fill that. And then if we think it's a fit, we'll talk about what that looks like, what implementation looks like, what your investment of time is, what your investment of money is. I will say that some people, and I know this sounds kind of hypey, will actually consider what I do for them actually being free. Because when they start implementing, when my clients start implementing this service, they're growing their revenue almost immediately. So yes, of course, they're investing in the method, both time and money. But the method is producing results almost immediately for them. So they're getting that return on investment. They're getting that feedback loop almost immediately. So who is this for? It's for people who have to generate their own new business, their own revenue, to do their own sales. That's business owners. Business owners can have sales divisions or sales teams. So it may be to implement for them, or it may be for themselves. This could be for coaches or consultants or sales professionals. But really, it's for people who have to generate their own business, their own revenue. That's who this can work for. And that person has to be offering a value-based service. That service has to cost in the thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions. The more complicated it is, the better this system actually works. And those sales conversations happen in conversations. Sales happen in conversations. It's not an email. It's not an ebook. You are speaking to people and they are saying yes or saying no to you. And the other filter is, you're already earning 6 figures plus. You're already running and you want to run faster. That tells me that you already know how to fulfill. You already know how to generate good experiences for people. It's already happening for you. What is to expect? I help you pinpoint your biggest gap in your sales and help you start to immediately fill it. I provide you really the right method. This is if we work together. Literally the scripts, the tools, the emails to fit your personality and industry. One of my clients, he said, these 1970 sales technologies, they kind of just give you ideas. And he said, RC, what I love about the Easy Conversation is literally you give me the script, you give me the follow-up email, I have all the structure, all the tools, I just implement it. It's so straightforward. And people see that with marketing systems, right? This is the landing page you use. This is the opt-in box you use. This is the follow-up email sequence. Like they literally give you all those things. Use these emails. I wrote them for you. Just, personalize them for you. But then when it gets to the conversation, the sales conversation, these people become like expert order takers. Do you want to work with me? This is how much it is. And they're just leaving so much on the table. Well, I show you the scripts, the tools, and the emails to use. And we plan your implementation and we start immediately, literally with your next sales conversation, whether it's with an existing client or a prospect. This is why it can happen so fast. And you saw with my little stick figure images before, the sales hack is knowing what words to use, knowing what not to say, right? But using the right conversation at the right time with the right words, that gets you everything. Now, I promised that if you stuck around, I wanted to give you something. And one of the things I wanted to give you was how to get people to say yes when you cold call them. Like, how do you get someone to say, you're going to go cold call someone that you don't know, and you want them to say, yes, please go ahead and continue telling me what you want to tell me. So here's the script. You call them and say, hi, John, this is RC Peck. We don't actually know each other, and this is a bit of a cold call. Is this a bad time? John, whoever you call, you know what they're going to say? No, this isn't a bad time. What is it? What do you got? What are you selling? Sure, what is this? Because you're being transparent. You're being honest. You're not lying. You're not pretending you know them. You're not pretending what you have is important to them. You're being very open. And so when their brain gets the phone call, they're not like, who's RC? Should I know RC? How do you even spell RC? That's a weird name. Wait, is he a stranger? Wait, what's going on? And they just hang up. Or you can go, hey, John, this is RC Peck. We don't actually know each other, and this is a bit of a cold call. Is this a bad time? Their brain's not trying to defend. Their brain's not trying to figure out who you are. Their brain's like, oh, your name's RC. You're cold calling me. We don't know each other. No, this is not a bad time. What's going on? And then they will agree to listen. They will agree to give you a minute or 2 minutes, which will agree. If they like that, then they'll give you another 2 to 5 minutes and another 2 to 5 minutes. It is so powerful. And with these specific words, basically what you're doing is you're kind of hacking the process and getting their brain to say, yeah, what's going on? And they'll agree to listen to you actually like 98% of the time. I've done thousands of these, and if you include all of my clients, there's probably been hundreds of thousands of these. They listen. They'll say, yeah, what do you got? And then guess what do? You tell them the type of client who works with you and the problems they're having. and you talk about the solution they got. That takes about a minute. And then you can find out immediately what their interest is in learning more. You have great rapport with them, and they're listening. So thank you for sticking around with that. So now it's really time to take action. And what part of you wants to start right now? Is it your brain? That's like the intellectual part of you saying, intellectually, I get this. Intellectually, I understand, like, it's words, it's conversation. It's really finding their personal one. It's not their business ask. Their brain, that is intellectual. You intellectually get this. Or is this more like the heart? Your heart is saying yes. That's more of the emotional part. Like, emotionally, I get why this works. I get how it can work with me. And I understand how RC would work with people. Or maybe it's just your gut feeling. Like, yeah, something's here. There's something here. So it's one of those. And if it's time to take action, or if your brain says it is, or your heart or your gut, or all three of them, then it's really simple. You just go ahead and click the button, and we get connected, and I see how I can help you very quickly fill that gap. As far as questions go, there's so many questions, but everything pretty much boils down to one or two questions. And so I want to kind of preempt those. Most questions are, this is me, will it work? This is me, will it work? And it works in every industry, right? A lot of people will work in this industry. If you have to have conversations by voice, if your service is thousands or tens of thousands, it could be very complicated, it could be very simple. If it's a value-based service, yes, this will work. Now you have to be, offering this to humans, so there has to be a human on the other side, but this is about human interaction. It's the type of conversation that matters, or the type, right? You have to have the conversations, it has to be expensive, it has to be value-based. If you have that, this will work. Absolutely. Do I have to be in person? No, it's just conversations. I do all of my conversations over the phone because I just don't like traveling. I don't like getting on the highway. So I have my conversations when I bring in money management clients, financial advising clients. It's all done over the phone. And there's almost nothing more personal than your money. So it's a very personal conversation to have, and those happen over the phone with me. Those are the two biggest ones. Then it kind of comes down to like, well, this is me, is it a fit? This is me, is it a fit? And the thing is, if you saw parts of you saying, yes, I need that, there's interest, go ahead, fill out the easy questionnaire. I'll take a look at it, and I'll get connected with you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for listening to this. My passion is helping people and helping them really get that security and those choices and freedom in their life so they can really give back to others. Because, I think you know this, but once people have the security they want or the freedom they want, what they end up doing is they become the difference maker for others. They give back to their family, they give back to their community, or they give back to their cause. This is RC Peck. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you. Take care.